My friends, just before I started streaming, I could have swore. I just saw a ghost. Here on the Nether, it wandered over there in the distance. It's terrified me. It shocked me to my soul. I thought Herobrine was removed from this game. No, sorry, the music inspires me. I love the power of a mood in the music. And all you have to do is just switch your voice, and it all matches. Very cool, right? Welcome to another live stream day. It is on the hour. It is time to transition from Mr. Joe Hills to Mr. Asuma. B-Suma, some might say. Def Dealer YT for 13 months. iPause with the Prime subscription. Dinglehopper for 12. Thank you ever so much for your tremendous support, my friends. Oh, I know this. Exit strategy. So I got to try and leave it there and not accidentally use it. How about that? A little bit of a morning voice going on right now. It's not the morning, it's 2 o'clock, but I haven't done much else. I mean, I've been doing other things, and I want to talk about what I've been doing this morning in my day, but I feel like there's something a little bit more pressing to talk about. Yesterday, I handed over the stream for myself to Ren, and Ren was talking about Black Lives Matter and showing his support for it, and I felt like I wanted to speak up as well on the topic. I also have a question for you in chat. For you peeps in chat, coming over from Joe's stream because Joe has raided us. Coming over from Joe's Hill. Y'all were hanging out on Joe's Hill just a minute ago, weren't you? Yeah. So, did Joe by any chance talk about this? Because Joe's the kind of person to have opinions and views on these types of things. And I'm really interested in hearing his thoughts and opinions, actually. But I didn't get to watch him just because I've been busy all morning doing bits and bobs. He did. Okay, very cool. Oh, they already left. Okay. Well, you know, here's the thing. If you've been around my streams and heard me talk about this stuff before, you know I'm going to provide far more nuance than just like I support this movement or whatever. I do fully support the movement at the moment and the sentiment of it. Like, you know, Black lives do matter. However, I am also quite ignorant to who's organising Black Lives Matter. You know, I haven't gone and dug into their websites, read their manifesto, or whatever information is out there about who's organising it and what they're standing for specifically. Well, it's also in a time and an age where I wouldn't be surprised if this movement was more decentralised and just about the sentiment. But I fully support the sentiment. But when Ren was talking about it, I kept an eye on chat and I saw what I expected to see, which were the dissenting voices, the people who aren't on board with it and don't get it. And do you know what I really don't like about all of this? I don't like the tone in which people who don't understand it are talked to a lot of the time, okay? I keep getting sucked into social media lately, probably because of how important all of this is happening right now. And I have made it a habit of mine to not get sucked into the depressing nature of news and to the constant bickering and fighting on social media, because I see how draining it is on me. Winnie T. Ford says, I can't stand cancel culture X either. We could call it cancel culture, yeah, that might be a way to talk about it. And there are some dissenting voices coming out in chat right now. I would ask you to hold your comments until I've spoken a little bit, and then I'll be happy to interact, because I think it's really important to conversate with one another and educate one another and see and understand other people's perspectives. Otherwise, we don't really get anywhere. We stay in our little echo chambers. And as I've so often said, the echo chamber is not the thing that those people that don't get it are in. It's what we're all in. We've probably always been in some form of echo nature. Some form of echo chamber. You naturally talk to people with similar opinions. Your friends are usually people with similar opinions, right? And so these things reinforce one another. There are psychological effects, like the more you hear something, the more you would believe it to be true. If I make a false statement and I say it at every single stream of mine, after you've been here for 100 streams, you might think that's absolute fact. And that's a known phenomena, you know? So getting back on track a little bit, this is the problem when I talk like this. I just go off on tangents and forget the point I was trying to make. Again, in chat, let's calm it down. Hear me out first. So, I'm a little bit somewhat ignorant to the specifics of this movement, but I am more classically educated, let's say, on... Classically educated, God, that sounded so weird. I don't even know what that means. My education on this stuff comes from a lot of things that I probably consumed and got involved with around 10 years ago. So, you know, I became very aware of the struggles historically and that people faced in our society today, and that's been a thing that I just haven't engaged with so much over the recent years. I'm kind of more out of the loop, but when I was growing up, I learned about MLK and I learned about Malcolm X and other figures in the civil rights movement, and I've spent a lot of time watching documentaries about the past and learning about what happened in the 60s and what's happened since then. And it's, you know, my investment and interest in understanding what's happened has painted a particular picture of the world. And if you haven't taken the time to go and learn about the civil rights movement and learn about you know, the systemic problems in society, then these other ideas that get floated around are, you know, not as easy to understand, and it's easy to get on the other end of the stick, so to speak. It's easy to find yourself like not getting the reason why this matters, why these people's lives matter. I'm probably sure that you've heard it all a gazillion times, the example that, you know, everyone's sitting around. Oh, let's see what Joe says. Yeah, I also wouldn't agree with everything Malcolm X taught, but his struggle and his existence in society and the things that he fought for, okay, I don't believe you have to agree with everything, but the fact that it's there and that he's fighting for it, it shows you that there's an underlying problem. Like, people who fight for something may not have the right answer, but there's usually an underlying problem. That's the point. Alright, I don't do a lot of reading, but if ever I get back into it, that might be an interesting one to read, Joe. I've watched movies and documentaries about him. There's like a 3-hour movie about him that was like incredible. I used to watch when I was... seen it a couple of times. I used to rewatch movies a lot more when I was younger. These days it's always like, oh, what's new? What can I see that's, you know, fresh? So yeah, you've probably all heard the example that we're sitting at a table and some people are saying, yeah, everyone's eating, and some people are saying, look, I haven't got anything to eat, you know, I need some food. And then people turn around to them and say, we all need food, right? That's the pushback with this all lives matter thing, okay? Of course all lives matter, but right now we're paying attention to a specific group of people. And what I get upset about in the conversation around this is how people who don't understand it or on board with it get kind of pegged down by default by certain people. Not everyone behaves like this, but online I've seen it just over the last couple of days. I saw this list getting shared of how to respond to people that don't understand Black Lives Matter. And just about every answer was baked with an insult, okay? You know, it couldn't just be like, oh, if they say this, here's a counterpoint. It had to be like, here's a counterpoint to why they're an idiot. And you know what? Like, people who have different opinions to you aren't automatically idiots. It's not on to treat other people like that. And you're never going to be able to bridge the divide if you treat them like that as well. You know, how do you feel when someone tells you your opinion's idiotic, right? Your opinions are built out of the information that you've been exposed to. They've been built out of the different forms of reasoning that you've been exposed to. And unless we have discussion and discourse around these things, we're going to push each other further into our corners, which is going to make things so much more difficult moving forward. There you go. Joe's saying, I think it's a matter of different experiences and education more than difference of opinions. Well, they're all sort of in the same sphere, right? Like I describe it as a information silo, but yeah, your experiences contribute to that. Your education does as well. But the opinion is the outcome, right? Like, the opinion is the thing we express. Oh, I think this is the way the world works. And so, yeah, we got to remember that when we talk to one another. Now, there were some dissenting things I saw in Ren's chat that I thought I could respond to those. I can think of some things to say back. I'll take a few dissenting voices in my my chat. And again, you know, if someone comes with a dissenting opinion, let's not jump on any hate wagon. Let's talk to one another. We should be able to disagree and move forward, you know, with discussion. If it ends up that you don't convince that person, if that's what you're trying to do, it's not the end of the world. But I think if we put up this like wall of hate towards people that don't feel the same way as us, that's more corrosive than trying to stimulate discussion and conversation. So one of the things that was brought up in Ren's stream was white privilege, right? This idea of white privilege. And Ren talked about it himself. Now, I find this term extremely divisive, and I think it doesn't communicate the idea correctly. Here's the thing, okay? I'm a white man, and a straight white man, and in my life, I've never really felt any obstacles come from any of those elements, okay? I can't, and I've rattled my brain several times. I thought, well, you know, like, think it through, play devil's advocate, and I can't really ever think of times that have been barriers for me. But I have seen people of different orientation, different gender and race come up against those obstacles because of those elements, okay? The problem is that we have these blanket statements of, like, white privilege, and it just takes all of the nuance out of the conversation. Because although I have experienced my life this way, I know that there are people in the same category as me that do come up against obstacles, and it may not be directly because of those things, but because birth is a lottery and society is not equal across the board. Whatever you were born into, you did not choose. And so there can be people out there that are white, straight, and male that maybe have not so great lives. And when someone else is telling them that they have a white privilege, could you understand how that would push back against them? And that wouldn't sound right. Because I believe that although white privilege is something that definitely applies to probably a lot of people, not everyone who's white. You know, you can be born of any colour, race, into any kind of condition that was no choice of your own, no fault of your own. It's just the miracle of birth. You don't know where you're going to end up on this planet. You don't pick what country, don't pick who your parents are, or any of it. And so I think it's very divisive to use terms like white privilege. As a concept, I think it's definitely something that's real, but the way people talk to each other online, you know how it works. We get in our little Twitter spheres, we get all defensive and shout things at other people, and it takes all of the nuance out of the conversation. White privilege just means the obstacles don't occur because of your race, necessarily. Yeah, but not all the time. And I feel like I've never experienced those obstacles because of these elements. Joe says, X, the thing that white privilege isn't a blanket thing means that everything is great. It means that you have fewer things to worry about than non-whites, like how traffic stops go. Yeah, I agree with that, but it's a game of numbers. I think there are certain things like the atmosphere of how police interact with people of race is clearly a problem. And is probably more of a blanket statement. Joe says, everything else might be terrible for a particular white person, but they're less likely to get shot and pulled over in a car. Yeah. So this is where it comes down to statistics, okay? Like, statistical interpretations of society show us trends and patterns. The point is that every statistic always has an anomaly, right? unless you've got something that is literally 100% every single time. And when those anomalies exist, people who push back against these ideas, they refer to those and look at those as the bigger picture. That's kind of like why I try to say things aren't blanket, so to speak, right? When I say things aren't blanket, it doesn't mean that it's not like 99% of the way there or 50% of the way there. It's just to appreciate the fact that it isn't always black and white, and that people get hung up on these issues when they find themselves in that, you know, category. If you were a white person and by the chance of life, by the randomness of nature, you had had several bad encounters with the police, you might think it's a load of BS to say that it's, you know, you might think, well, I've had all these bad experiences with the police anyway, and you might not buy into the ideas that people of a different race are more likely to encounter issues, right? And Jay Crispy says, black males are 13% of the American population, yet commit 54% of the homicides in the country. You know, I don't know where those statistics come from. I'm not really going to comment on them specifically, but I know that when you see statistics, you really need to dig deeper into what's going on beneath those, because numbers can be distorted, and they can be distorting in the nature of them. The reason that homicide rates are high is because of the environment in which those people have come from. You know, slavery, when slavery ended, all the slaves were not put into the same quality of housing, into the same neighborhoods as the white people in the country around them. There was not an effort to properly integrate them. In fact, there were laws brought in that were essentially trying to turn them into labor again. I can't quite remember the specifics because it's been a while. I'm not sure if they're the Jim Crow laws, but you know, there was a movement to then take these populations and criminalize them and turn them into labor again. And this is from many, many years ago. And, you know, the trickling effect of things that happened in the past affecting things that happen today lingers around. So, you know, yes, there is a statistic, if that's true. There's also a statistic that says that, you know, a black male is more likely to be in a crime-riddled neighborhood than, you know, than someone of different ethnicity. So there are so many factors, and this is why I think it's important to watch documentaries to get your head deep into it, because it's a very tricky and big thing, and there's many different ways to look at it. Good Netflix documentary on this topic called 13th, says Thanos Scope. I believe I watched that one, and yeah, I remember that one being good. The Jim Crow laws were for segregation. Okay. Yeah, I mean, my brain is fuzzy on this stuff, and again, full disclosure with me and my opinions, okay? Like, I watch a lot of this stuff in the form of edutainment, okay? Obviously, these issues are not entertainment, they are passionate, more so. But, you know, I'm a person who watches stuff while I play Minecraft, right? I'm taking in all this information. I'm not studying it. I'm not getting dates and facts drilled into my head. So I always like to make that clear, because I don't want to come off like everything I'm saying is fact. I'm telling you when I'm remembering stuff and when it's fuzzy. And I'm trying to tell you, you know, hey, this is stuff I watched and learned years ago, right? And the conversation today around this stuff is very different from when I was learning it years ago as well. Another point. Anyway, chat is moving very fast. A lot of people want to wage in on thoughts and opinions. I'm saying a lot of things. Y'all are saying a lot of things. We've got lots of noises in the ear. We will read through some of those and pick this up. So, Sally SC 343 for 3 months. We've got April over for 27. K Schlolt gifting a sub to Ginger Killer. We got Sana of Scarva with 10 gifted subs. Ant Venom 111. Ezra Tago, K921, Vibobike, Unreal, Mensch, Molix 47, Cuddlier Cub 10, Hellcat 06, Eduina, Mint Broman, thank you ever so much for tuning in, and Sana of Scarva, thank you for gifting those subs, very kind of you to support our community. I'm going to drink some tea right here. Gulost 62 with the Prime, Atom 7k for 6 months, we got a Shadow for 6 months as well. We got Crazy Asian 5809 with the Prime, Dilem 001 for 3 months, Little Joe 27 for 26 months, saying hi all. Badger Spanner is here with a resubscribe for 19 months. We got Odin's Dreads with cheers and bits, saying a mind convinced against its will is of the same opinion still. Assume the best about others, benefit of the doubt. I get the second bit. Let's read the first bit again. A mind convinced against its will is one of the same opinion still. Convinced against its will. Its own will? Not sure I quite get that. Oh, I think you're saying that, like, if you convince yourself against your underlying instinct, you still hold that underlying opinion. Perhaps. I don't know. That one was a little confusing for me. Right. Pigmaster 434 is here with the Prime. Pione Free Dezilla is here with the Prime as well. Chef Poke Crafter with the Prime. And Riff Raff with cheers and bits, saying the difference between a white person might have bad things happen to them, but they don't happen to them because they are white. I believe that racism can go both ways, okay? Because, in essence, race is an idea in some forms, right? If I refer to the sciences, okay, we are the human race. The classical definition of race is that we are the human race, and then there is the race of this animal and that animal, right? There is a line of categoric definition, and the difference between us is skin pigmentation and other slight deviations from where we live, culture. There's many different impacts and effects that can shape genetics, but we are the human race, okay? And to me, it's like slavery is perhaps where it started, and it was the exploitation, colonialism, and exploiting resources, and then exploiting people and having a reason to exploit them. Race is very apparent and obvious. So skin color is very apparent and obvious and upfront. Okay. Do you know what else there is? Differences between us: eye color, hair color, height, probably other things as well. And why are they not bigoted in the same way? Probably because they're, they don't have they're more integral between people. In groups of people, there are different hair colors and heights and eye colors, yet skin pigmentation is a very big distinction, and it's different based on where you are in the planet. So when colonialism happened, it was very easy to sell that idea that these people were inferior and it was okay to exploit them, which it absolutely was not. And it lingers on today. And so for me, it's like the issue is not actually race and genetics. They're not causing us a problem. It's not like, oh, the people with different coloured skin are having this thing manifest, I don't know, when they come north into colder climates, they explode and cause loads of problems. Like, it's not a physical thing, it's an idea thing. It's a thing in people's minds. And so I therefore believe that things can work in reverse. It wouldn't be hard to imagine that someone who was black and had been through a lot of oppression and problems through their life because of that might hold a grudge against some white people, Like, that would be totally believable. And so I think the idea that race matters in that way is an idea. It's just an idea. Size matters too. My friend has been bullied due to his body size, and that's not on at all, is it? Bullying people for whatever reason. Never the right way to go around things. So looking at chat, there's a lot of issues, a lot of opinions, coming through. I'm just okay, a couple of people are speaking out about being bullied for various reasons, having eczema, having disabilities. Totally not on. It's totally not on. You know, bullying is never right. Bullying is like an attitude, you know, and I couldn't think of a single reason when it would ever be right. If you really, for some reason, annoyed by some superficial factor of another person, or maybe someone does something that annoys you, or they're mean, like, always walk the good path. Like, if you don't get along with people for whatever reason, don't be mean to them, just move on. I can't even make bullying in my head make any sense. It's always wrong to me. But to try and make some sort of, like, you know, devil's advocate claim to it, if you really don't get along with someone for whatever reason, don't resort to being mean. Just be nice and move on, you know? And to all of you talking about being bullied, I feel for you. It ain't on. It ain't right. It's gotten better over time. There's a lot of things that have actually gotten better over time, and my school was a riot when I was there. Like, whew, the things that happened in my year were ridiculous, and kind of got word through the grapevine, seeing friends from school and whatnot over the years, that apparently, like, schooling today is far better. So that's, you know, that's good, but obviously not if you're still getting bullied. Not at all. Not trying to make an excuse for it, just sort of, you know, progress has been made apparently. Right, this takes a lot of time, doesn't it? Just doing this takes a bit of time. Every time I come here, I always forget to. I'm gonna pick that back up. Don't worry. I always forget to bring more shulker boxes with me. Okay, well that wasn't very well thought out, was it? Let's. Probably not going to get much more than that. Famous last words. Put those in there as well. I support the rioters, says MLG Gamer. I don't think you should ever support rioting. You can understand why people riot. You can understand their frustrations, their reasoning, what might cause that, but never support it. Because it's not the answer. Like, burning down what we've got is not the answer. It's changing it. I don't believe in revolution and, you know, ending things and flipping the table. I believe we've got to change what we've got. But yeah, that's kind of like a bigger topic overall to talk about. Mr. Polymath says, X, I'm curious, have you heard about our president staging a photo op at a church and how he removed peaceful protesters to do it? I've heard about that, and, you know, that doesn't surprise me that he would do that. You know, my opinions on Donald Trump are, I genuinely don't like the man for a lot of reasons. I didn't like him before he was president. I didn't like him before people were even talking about him being president. Just through, again, being someone who watches documentaries and is interested in stuff, learning about, you know, his history as a business person. It's obviously relatively fishy, but here's the thing: you want to talk about him, it's like WWF. You know, he's got his supporters, and it doesn't matter what he does; they'll back him all the way. And you know, that's so disheartening that it happens that way, because he becomes essentially, you know, like, what's the point? It feels like, what's the point in me pointing out how terrible of a thing that is to do? Because there's so many examples of it. But it's like, if anyone supports him, he's their guy, and they get behind him no matter what. And that's just the way it is, and it's ridiculous. In all fairness, it's ridiculous. And it's incredibly divisive. It gets people into their camps talking about him, and that's all the stuff I'm not about. I'm not about us getting into our little opinion camps and shouting at each other. It's kind of why I don't like talking about him, because he's pretty much the embodiment of that right now, I guess. You know? Someone in chat said, you may not like Trump, but no one better ran for president. I totally understand that. By the way, I'm not hating on Trump supporters. I don't like him, but pick a Trump supporter out of the crowd. I don't know anything about him. Obviously, I know they support Trump. For what reasons? There's many reasons you could support him. A lot of people didn't like Hillary and voted for him. I understand that. She represented business as usual and people wanted a change from that. There's been people that have been let down and he's been a voice to them. And I get that. I totally get that. But, I can't support him and his actions. Not at all. Rachel Soma says, Trump lost the popular vote. Yep, but due to the way, the system works in America, you don't need the popular vote to get the presidency. So, his presidency is legit. It's just everything around him has become so tribal. It's like so difficult to discuss it with any meaning. It's like people's feelings are facts these days instead of objective things about what he's done or said. It almost feels pointless to talk about it. Let's go back to our cheers and bits. Spider Monkey, thank you so much for subscribing to Amazon Prime. Loshow1, Kedweb1, also subscribing for 3 months. Hacken 422556 for 15 months. We've got the Starbite with cheers and bits. No message with that one, but thank you ever so much. We have Faust852 with the Prime. Rachel Sommer is here, gifting a sub to Small Sleepy Bean. Thank you for tuning in, appreciate it. And thank you for gifting that sub, Rachel. Swag Nilliance is here with the cheers and bits, saying, hey, X, enjoying the stream. Came with Joe's raid. Well, welcome over. I hope you're enjoying the discussion. It's political, it can be heated. Just feel like maybe this is a good time to talk about it. And again, I see a lot of people with opinions in chat. Remember to be respectful of one another. That's what I promote here, We may have different opinions, but we can't lose sight of listening to one another. Naka780 is here with the Prime. Dan is online 69 with the Prime. TW Boom has subscribed. Rachel Sommers gifted another sub to Roanoke 24601. Thank you for gifting that sub. Appreciate it. Flux9665 is here with the Prime. K-Dads is here for 30 months. We got Nils von Blotnitz with the Prime. Grahama is here, resubscribing for 2 months. We've got Tanny Glace for 13 months. And I want to thank you, X. One of your raids introduced me to one of my best IRL friends. Oh, that's super cool. But IRL, so you know each other in real life. That's really cool. Awesome. R. Cleary YT here with the Prime. We've got Marine Tuck for 8 months saying, hey-oh, stuff and things, that is all. We've got TWSX with cheers and bits saying, you mentioned Cub yesterday, how yoga was life-changing for you. Could you elaborate on in what way yoga has affected you so much? Genuinely curious, as I've been thinking of giving it a go. Okay, yeah, happy to talk about yoga. We'll pivot the conversation for a while. Maybe we'll come back to what we were talking about now later. So yoga changed my life, but that is like a statement of persuasion. It's a statement of passion for yoga and for encouraging other people to do it. Your life is in a constant state of change, is the reality, okay? Change is the norm, it's all that's ever happening, okay? Look, this moment just changed to the next one, I just changed the view, like change is ongoing. But where yoga came into my fitness journey and my transformation from being a lethargic, lazy individual to someone who's very active, helped me with my flexibility, which was really important, I needed that. But it's a hard thing to describe. So let's just start. Let's say you take up yoga today. You start doing it and stretching, okay? You're going to be holding poses with your body. And some of those are going to be difficult when you're new to it. And it might seem a little bit strange as to why you're doing this. But what you're doing, if you do yoga every day, is you're attending to your body. You're stretching out those muscles. You're giving them care and attention that you don't probably realize they need. And, well, maybe they don't need it, but there is great benefit that comes from doing it on a regular basis. And that is small things, like when you get a little bit of an ache or a feeling here or there, you kind of know a pose to correct that. You know, oh, if I just move my arms like this or stretch that muscle, it'll ease it up. And for that, every morning I wake up, I know all the stretches I need to do just to get all the the little overnight pains. What do you call them? Because sometimes you wake up and you've got like that kind of achiness in various parts of your body. But as well as that, you know, it helps you transform the shape of your body as well. If you do it consistently, you'll end up toning your muscles, as they say, which isn't actually a thing. Like, toning your muscles isn't a scientific thing, but you know, your body will find strength and it will find shape. And it also helps you mentally as well. I find yoga's quite close to meditation, because when you hold these poses, you put your body under a stress, okay? And that stress eases the amount of thought in your mind. So when you become more adept to doing these stretches and to being more comfortable with them, you find a state of ease in your mind, because your mind's not thinking about stuff. And those poses that you pull and hold are less intense the more you do them. And it just becomes like quite a peaceful process. As I said, it's like similar to meditation. Now, meditation is, as I've experienced it, the act of trying to remove the impulsive nature of thinking. You know, oh, this, that, oh, eat food, oh, do this. Just trying to eliminate as much of that as you can and focus on the sensations of sitting, you know, feeling heat, feeling what your muscles are feeling like, hearing sounds just coming into existence, focusing on the sensation of breathing. All this stuff. Just going to put a couple of those in there. All this stuff that, you know, like the benefit of meditation is you kind of get close to it with yoga as well. And so if you do yoga every day, it's it'll be a wonderful thing over time. You'll get more flexible, you'll just feel a little better, you'll get that closeness to a form of meditation, and apparently it helps with your digestion a lot to do yoga. So there's another thing. If you are interested in learning to do yoga, I highly recommend one of the biggest channels on YouTube, Yoga with Adriene, and she does every year a 30 days of yoga in January. You can go watch any of those and follow them along, maybe do a session every day. She's got loads of different videos for beginners. I will say though, if you're like maybe on the like really less flexible side, there is a video on YouTube that I found many years ago, and it only had a few views when I first found it, and now it's got like gazillions. But if you search yoga for complete beginners, you'll find like this 20-minute video where you do poses where you mostly lay on your back and like pull your leg up to your chest, and that's a really great introduction, that one. But yeah, yoga's absolutely fantastic. Taking care of your health. Highly recommend it. And we got some Adriene fans in chat, I see. That's cool. That's cool. Right, a lot of, again, I'm just looking at chat and it's just moving fast, and it's just interesting to see everything. Someone's asking if Scar is okay. I have no idea why Scar can't stream. I just know that there was a change, so I can't really comment. I literally don't know. Grace says, it's hard to avoid political and general human rights talk at the moment. Just don't forget to share a little positivity too. Absolutely. Absolutely. I like that. That's a great message. Okay, back to the noises in the eardrum. We've got Revolt Train 101 saying, is Scar okay today? I just answered that, so hopefully you caught it, and thank you ever so much for your cheers and bits. Cherry Ann 566 gifting a sub to Erratic WTF. We've got Anna Bomb Banana gifting a sub to Rubik's Cube Dude, and Cilia Dragon Fang gifting a sub to It's That One Guy. Again, thank you so much for the supporting of the community with the gifted subs there. We've got Geeson1 for 4 months, Bot007 for 7 months, and 042001 has subscribed. And we are all caught up on the noises in the ear, so thank you everyone for your tremendous support over here. Oh, we also got NetDog3800 with the 3 months of support. Appreciate ya. Peeps, we got 6,000 peeps tuning in today. That's terrific. Be sure to hit the follow button over here and check out livestream.hermitcraft.com for today's full schedule. And all we've done is craft bones, and y'all are sticking around watching me do this. It's just a grindy job that I have to do from time to time, right? Won't have to do it for a long time now, due to the nature of how things have played out today, I got to AFK this overnight, and not what I planned, but in the morning I learned about something really cool. Okay, game from my childhood has been remastered. It's called Command and Conquer, and I think I got wind of this a while ago, but then forgot. But now I've seen it's been released, and people are raving about it. The reviews are fantastic, right? We played Command and Conquer on Livestream like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago. Played it daily for a while, and it was so awkward to get it to run. I had to do all this hacky stuff with a virtual machine, then I had to get my computer to do all weird stuff while I was streaming to capture it, and it was even a pain in the bum. I could like break the whole thing if I just tabbed to the wrong program or something, right? Anyway, it's remastered, it's supported for Windows 10, and I was just like, yeah, I've got to get that. Just going to buy it. I don't know when I'm going to play it. I'm probably going to stream Red Alert Remastered at some point in the future, because it was a plan of mine to play Red Alert again at some time in the future. Now, the thing that I was really excited for, and then spent my time this morning doing, was checking out the soundtrack. Now, the soundtrack to those games have just been a huge part of like my childhood, and then growing up I've always adored and listened to them, like beyond the game. And even on these live streams, we played the Command & Conquer soundtracks many a time, all this weird funky industrial music going on in the background with some metal guitars thrown in there as well at times. And it's all been remastered. And what I did is I found one of these, it was so cool. It reminded me of when I was a kid. I used to like search the internet for these hacky tools to like extract the audio from the game, right? Managed to do that again today. And spent the morning like figuring out what all the audio tracks were, putting them into my archive, sort of sorting them out. So there's like, basically there's like a few groups of tracks. There's all the remastered stuff, that's terrific, been listening to that. It's a literal remaster, so the same tracks, just kind of better produced and freshened up. Then you've got the original stuff, which I had a couple of tracks I was actually missing from. There's some bonus tracks and takeouts from the original soundtracks to listen to. And there's also stuff from the Retaliation game on the PlayStation, which I never got a hold of. So I enjoyed listening to that. And then there's Frank Laplacki playing with this band called the Tiberian Suns. And they've actually got a couple of records where they cover video game music and Command & Conquer music. And yeah, it was really great, and they teamed up to kind of like redo about 20 tracks, I think it was, from the soundtrack. I listened to them all while I was working out. It wasn't the best. Like there were quite a lot of what I thought were weaker kind of like reimaginings of the songs, but overall, like pretty fantastic to have all of this remastered Command & Conquer music to enjoy. So that's what I was doing this morning. I should have been playing Minecraft, but I was, you know, figuring all that out and putting it into my archive, putting it on my phone so I can listen to it. I'm super hyped. We'll play it at some point. We're going to play Minecraft Dungeons a little further. And then maybe, you know, maybe I'll keep the variety going and we'll stream some Red Alert. I don't really have a desire to play it to the end. I think I just want to play it and get a bit of a fix. Remember those fun old memories playing that game. I was also thinking it might be a good idea to wait for mods, because the remaster includes a lot of modded support, and this modded support is integrated into Steam, and I don't know to what the extent it can be supported is, but it might be more fun to wait until someone makes a really good mod, like they perhaps make a custom campaign or add in loads of cool units and just enjoy it with a twist. That might be a lot of fun. So, we need to go grab 1, 2, 3 shulker boxes. And they're in spoiler territory. Of course they are. I mean, why would they be anywhere but in spoiler territory? Talk about YouTubers again. Maybe not today, actually. I did say we'd talk about Hermitcraft streamers, but I think we might just save that for, like, another day. We'll do a whole, like, thing on it. Hermitcraft streamers, you know what I mean, Hermitcraft members. Childhood memories can be really nice, says Peter Joy. When you're at that age, you know, when you're a teen and a kid, like, you form a lot of memories and a lot of your identity, especially as a teenager. And so those things can hold, like, a lot of value to you. A lot of value that doesn't... Oh, actually... No, I leave that there. What was I saying? You know, you form your identity. You form a lot of value around the things that you identify with. And you can attach a lot of emotion to music and things that you're doing at the time. It's like that for all of us. And, you know, when you're that age, you're quite resistant to listening to advice from other people. At least I was. And that's not everyone, but it's quite a common thing. You know, shut up, Mum. Shut up, Dad. Don't tell me what to do. You know. But like, when you're older, you wish you'd have listened, because if I'd have known like how I'd feel about stuff I did when I was younger now, like you'd be so much smarter about it. You'd enjoy some things so much more than you thought you did at the time. But yeah. Right, noises in the air. We got Negative Panda for 15 months. LK Brenda for 4 months. The Salty Evie with the subscription. We got Sherlock with the 4 months of subscription. And cheers and bits from Griathar Leakin, saying, working whilst listening to Sensei Suma. Is that a new nickname for me? Thank you for all these insightful, nuanced and wise points of view. Thank you for the nice message, dude. I'm glad you're enjoying while you're working. Hope you enjoy your work day. And thank you for the cheers and bits. We've got Vog ST 666 with the Prime subscription. Thank you ever so much. Appreciate it. A 16-year-old thinks he or she knows so much more than the parents than they have their own kids. Payback, says Randy. Yeah. It's such a weird thing, though, because I was exactly like... I was the worst, man. Like, I really thought I knew everything when I was younger. It's like, why do you kick into that mode? Like, it's such a great idea to, like, learn about your own ignorances, to realise your own shortcomings, and, you know, realise that you're fallible as a person. But for some reason, you're incredibly resistant to that idea. Incredibly resistant, at least I was. We got Speedhorn Chen with the Prime. We got Chyanduros with the Prime, and Bloodstone 101 for 3 months, saying, enjoying the videos and streams. You're doing such an amazing job keeping everyone entertained during lockdown. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, lockdown has just been like full pelt Hermitcraft, because I'm locked down as well. You know? I'm locked down as well. It's just hormones, I think, says the Bean Man. Yeah, I mean, hormones are a part of being at that age, right? They'd obviously play a role because there's something that's happening in the environment. I listened to this video yesterday that talked about... It was like this scientific video. I think it was from Hot Mess. Talked about the language of talking about environment and interconnectivity. And there's all these like really fancy terms for like fully understanding and deliberating how things interact with one another, ecosystems and what, right? So when you say like, oh yeah, it's hormones, it's like, well, it has to be hormones because hormones are a thing that happens at that age, right? It's all the things, it's all the different things that connect, and there's so many of them. And the video was really cool though. It like classified all these different types of connection and ways that things fit together and the language to use to talk about it. It's really cool. Peeps are asking about Scar. Ren is doing an extra half hour on his stream, and then Green is streaming for 90 minutes on his YouTube channel, is where he streams, I believe. Hey Sumo, I'm interested in your thoughts on J.K. Rowling's newest bout of terrible transphobic opinions, says Emerald Lapin. I not a clue what she said, but I know she says a lot of ridiculous stuff from time to time. But oh hi, hey, from yesterday. Woo! Look at this, loads of it. Sweet. Thank you, Impulse. Don't forget to buy something while you let's say it. Don't forget to buy something while you're here. Quick, before he goes away. Oh. Oh, that's brilliant. Right, we've got to do some restocking, you see. Oh, it's empty. What's going on? Hey, look, he's buying. Wait, he's shopping. It worked. Oh, that's great. That's great. There we go. Thank you, Impulse. That's awesome. Because I need to build one of my own little farms like that soon. I'm planning on building like maybe like a mega tower that has loads of farms in it instead of lots of towers with little farms, something like that. My goodness me, we've been streaming for 15 minutes already. That has flown by. Flown by. We're just doing some like maintenance work, I guess, today. Right, so I'm kind of left with a lot extra. I doubt I'm going to sell these all out, so I probably don't need to drop them in there. He's doing market research. Brilliant. Brilliant. We got a noise in the ear from Stolen with a subscription, and we got Wiggly Fox with a donation saying, grab the Command & Conquer Ultimate Collection on Origin for 15 a few years ago. It's optimized for Windows 10 and works perfectly for me. Not sure if that's still cheap. Still that cheap, but treat yourself. And thank you for your voice in these times. Thank you for your donation, dude. Appreciate it. I have that collection, and I can't remember if it was compatible with Windows 10 for me or not. In my head, it makes sense that it is because I brought it on Origin, which works on Windows 10. But I've got a feeling I think I was trying to do something different with it. You know, I think I brought that so that I could get the game files and emulate it the way it was originally played with a virtual machine. I think that's what I ended up doing. I can't remember. But, you know, the remaster just takes all the pain out of playing it again. But I definitely had like a different experience to that, which is kind of weird. Like I know I didn't actually play the way they intended me to, and I can't remember why. But it could have been that, or maybe I just like ran into some sort of issue and couldn't get it to work. Right, we shall go stock up these ink sacks. Keep a little stock over there. That is what we'll do. We got Terra CNM13 with the Prime subscription. Appreciate it. Appreciate it ever so much. Alright, let's have a look at chat and what people want me to talk about. Guys, don't bully Nightbot, says Axel. Come on, guys, you might hurt Nightbot's feelings. You should make a name for the concrete shop. Yeah, I just never found something that really hit. It would just be something kind of lame, like, you know, like Concrete Complete. I'm sorry. I couldn't help myself. As you can see, this thing is a resounding success. I kind of feel like, you know, maybe I should do more with this, or maybe lower the price at the shop wouldn't be a bad idea. Obviously, at this point, would rather just help benefit. Color Complete, even more lame. Hey, Impulse is listening, or just Psychic. glad to have you with us, Impulse. Nice XP level, 169. Oh, 69. Oh, jeez, get over it. Oh my words. Why does Mumbo barely stream, says Lucas. You know, probably because he doesn't fancy streaming that much. Not everyone has to stream all the time, right? Everyone's got their preferences. Some people don't stream at all. Okay, so we're going to go drop this off over in here. Let's check up on this shop. These things just don't sell right here, which is fine because it takes a while to accumulate a lot of them. Hey, there we go. Some sales. Oh, someone's brought some dirt, right? 12 diamonds, nice. So I do have more andesite. I sold some to Impulse. I'm guessing Impulse probably brought it all. I need to go mine some more. I'm just always stocking up my shops. That's the one thing about like running shops, is it's great, and I always want to keep them stocked and stuff, but then you have to like invest time in stocking up, and sometimes it's like, oh, I've got all these other things to do though. Oh, is Impulse gonna buy out the rest of my stuff or something? Oh yeah, the honey shop. I knew there was like one more thing to do here. Can you show the stream schedule, says Bound? But you can go to livestream.hermitcraft.com if you'd like to see it. We also got Minimoo12 for 7 months saying, love Hermitcraft stream days. Yeah, Impulse are out at the moment. You can go buy some more from my chest if you want to. Hey! Hey, those sold. We'll restock honey blocks. Cool. That's sold out completely a couple of times, and it makes me wonder if I should, like, get a bigger batch in here. Like, I like the symmetry of this room. You know, I like it a lot. Maybe I could just put like a chest here and put even more honey in it. I don't know. It might be a little bit silly. So, honey blocks are next. Wolf Boy says, when did the first Hermitcraft season start? And did you think it was going to get as popular as if you were... Okay, you know, the sentence is a bit of a jumble. I'll just talk about Hermitcraft when it started. When it started, I was just dead excited. You know, April 2012. I was just dead excited to be a part of a group. Minecraft was huge. Watching them, it was like, oh, it's so much fun to play together. Which was weird because before Minecraft, like, no one wanted to do multiplayer Minecraft. It was so strange. It was kind of like this, like, that's not good for YouTube thing, right? But then those guys showed everyone different, and I just wanted to be a part of a community. And when I got invited to join Hermitcraft, I was totally stoked, and it was like the beginning of an adventure, something I knew I wanted to do for a long time. Never envisioned it getting this big or popular at all. It was just some weird, like, hobby thing I was doing, you know? Okay, so... lots of bone blocks. Got a load of cocoa beans. Let's put that in there. Does cocoa beans have a spot? I feel like its spot is probably there. Yeah, that's where I've been putting it. I'll just leave you in there for now. We'll keep this extra shulker box on us. And actually, I'm going to need a few. Just thinking ahead, I need to do a couple of things, right? I need to get some more shulker boxes for where we're going, and then get the honey blocks, right? Can't forget about the honey, peeps. Honey, bum bum bum. What you do for money? What you gonna do? Do you know? There's an impression I could never do. What's his name? Is Brian something? AC/DC. I could never do an impression of that guy's voice. Never. Never do an impression of that voice. Wow, this thing's just stocked all the way up again. Right, I think we're going to go add a chest in the floor. That's my plan. But let's make some more while we're here. Oh, do you know why it's stocked all the way? It's because I've been in the area for 12 hours. Oh my goodness me. Wait, it will be stocked all the way to the very back. Do you know how long I spent yesterday emptying out all of these hoppers? Oh, actually it's not. Okay, well, this has been loaded for a long time. Let's see how far back. Oh, no, maybe not at all. Right, as far back as there. So yesterday I came through here and just emptied out like every single little bit. One of the reasons I did that is because I pumped more bottles into this thing to the point it filled up this chest. So now the bottles are backed up to about here. Interesting. Oh, there's also that. There we go. Anyway, I think we've done enough of this kind of grindy stuff. Well, grindy is all we're doing today, but let's fill up our 2 chests with honey blocks. Although, oh, wait a minute, I'm going to halve them, aren't I? That's how we run the stock there. Oh, in which case, right, if we're halving it, then we need that and then a bit of paper. So I'm not going to bore you with more of this, okay? Not today. And I was thinking of perhaps turning this thing down a couple of notches, but no. You know, people need the honey, I guess. Is it me, or does Asuma's voice sound auto-tuned, says the good doof. My voice is a little tired today, which is odd. I don't know why, it just is. Let's talk about food as well. We talked about food in yesterday's stream, right? So, we talked about... Oh, just drinking some water. Just drinking some water. We talked a little bit about binge eating yesterday and these like binge eating challenges on YouTube. I think I want to record a video for Asuma Says where I sit down and think about that stuff, because I have quite a strong opinion on those videos. I think, you know, on YouTube you can kind of like be accidentally irresponsible, not thinking about putting what the image you put forth is when you do certain things, right? And so anyway, you know, we talked about how The Rock eats and these other binge eating type things, and I just started to think, like, I've been trying to eat like a big meal the day before a workout day, and it quite often gives me a bit of extra energy for it. Although the real thing that gives me energy is sleep. It definitely feels like sleep is the best factor. And I felt like I had a naff night of sleep. I kept waking up. Yet according to my Fitbit, I got an 88, which is great. I rarely get as high as 90. So 88's terrific for a sleep score. So apparently I had really good sleep. Definitely felt like it. I felt well and truly energized. No lethargicness at all today. So yeah, that's how that went. But anyway, I started looking up like The Rock's eating challenge thing and all this, and read some articles where some people were saying, like, it kind of reminded me that, you know, you can build up your metabolism to do certain things, and they were sort of arguing the way The Rock does it is he's built up a really strong metabolism that can kind of just handle every week this day of just food getting thrown at the body and burn it all up over the next few days. And I thought, well, you know, I don't really want to now just start becoming a binge eater. I mean, like, the thing is, The Rock's eating like stacks of food all day long. It was madness. So anyway, I decided, right, I'm gonna, apparently did I do that right, or did I leave some in here? Oh, I got a stack here. I decided, oh, I'll get a bigger pizza, alright? I'll get a bigger pizza and I'll have a pancake after, and I'll have it with some ice cream. Go on then, I'll do I'll do my own little mini day of The Rock's eating habit, right? And I ate half the pizza, it was great, I loved it. And then when I ate the second half of the pizza later on, the last slice, it just hit me. I'm like, oh, I'm full now, but I don't like to throw away food. So I ate that last slice and I just felt like rough after. And I was thinking, I can't eat that many calories in a day, jeez. Oh. So yeah, I mean, you know, it's all fun and games to. I've only got one bit of paper, really, just one bit. I need some paper. We got any sugar cane? We got some sugar cane. It's all fun and games to look at what The Rock's like eating and stuff, and oh yeah, I'll do that today, but like my body just didn't want to do it, you know. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that again. It also made me think, like, if I'm going to binge eat or like have a day where I eat a lot of food, I don't like using that term. If I'm going to have like a treat day or whatever, like I should really think it through and like cook something I really love that's healthy and have a lot of it. As opposed to just making it, oh, I'll binge eat junk food. Why don't I binge eat some healthy food? Why not make a massive salad? You know? That sounds great. That's what I'm going to do. I need an anvil now. I'm going to have a massive salad one day. That's how I'm going to binge eat. I'm going to be like doubling up the portion. I'm going to put in some cheese. I'm going to put in some hummus. That'll be my cheat food right there, hummus. I love hummus. That'll go great in a salad. Was it frozen again, says Salty Hallerman? I'll find out today. After I stream, I got 2 more meals. I got a salad and then a bowl of vegetables. I'm going to have a pancake after as well. Cook it with some peanut butter. Right, so, what is this? Oh, focus! Focus, young man. 1 diamond for 32. That's all I got to do. 1 diamond for 32. Beautiful, beautiful. There we go. I think whoever comes in is just going to see that and be like, oh, there's more, you know. You're going to look. You come to the honey shop to get your things, you notice there's something a little extra on the floor. You're going to look. Of course you are. Don't lie, people. Don't tell me you wouldn't look in that chest. That's just not on. Do you do the diet where you eat 20 grams of protein every 3 hours, says Little Bear. I'd probably eat more protein than that. But I don't know of that diet. You know, there are some like crazy theories on how eating rapid protein and all of this, it's all a bit nonsense, really. The science on when to consume protein is like pretty flexible. Just make sure you're getting a good amount of it regularly, basically. I aim for like 40 grams of every meal. That's just how I calculate it. We got IDM Critter here with cheers and bits. No message though. Thank you so much for your cheers and bits, dude. Appreciate it. How far away from the ground do you have to be to not load caves, says Baby Ninja. 128 blocks. If you don't want things spawning in them. You sound a little different today, says J Welk. Yeah, my voice just hasn't been right. Hasn't been right, has it? I'm going to throw this honey block away. See ya! Oh, it's not even funny. How do you only have one pancake? Oh, it's massive. That's why. It's a big pancake. It fills up a whole pan. And I'm going to be cooking it with some like peanut butter mixture. And I'll probably put some Halo top on it as well. But I've got to work a bit more for it. I think I'm gonna shift my diet. I'm gonna make a new workout plan and then shift my diet. I think I'm done with cutting. It just, I don't know. It's been like over a month. I've made gains. I just feel like you need to change every so often what you're doing. You know, give yourself a break. And yeah, I don't really feel like I need the food, but I've just so noticed how much more energy you have if you time your eating and get like a good meal before your workout, as well as sleep. Sleep's massively important. Here I am eating egg on toast, says Huddy Mac. Oh man, eggs on toast, what a great meal. I don't eat bread or toast hardly ever. It's a real treat for me when I have that. We got Geratran Orion here for 6 months. Thank you ever so much, dude. Appreciate it. Little tip for your honey pot. The honey shop, the armor stand is sitting on the glowstone that should be lit up. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I appreciate the tip. I'm probably not going to go and mess about with that. I'll probably forget, you know. Once the project's done, I just kind of leave it. Oh, I've gone to the wrong place. Gone to the wrong place. Autopilot. Thanks, Autopilot. Oh, thank you. I could actually get some sand while I'm here. Yeah, let's fill up a box. Let's fill up a box of sand while we're here. Look, people are flying out all over the place and there's sand right here. Do you ever have Minecraft burnout from these videos, and how do you encounter it? Yeah, I kind of like, I have like ups and downs. I haven't had burnout in a long time. Actually, like the last couple of days, I've struggled a bit with, like, I'm juggling some big projects, trying to make videos and like not making a lot of progress where I want to. But like that's the time to step back. I think as a creator, you just got to focus on like doing what you do, but like notice where the stress is, right? When it starts to get a bit stressful or irritating, that's the time to step back. That's all you got to do, just step back. Because those are the things, you try and grind through that stuff sometimes, it can be pretty rough. But that's another thing as well, like, I also treat it like, again, like discipline, I make my videos, this is what I do, I get on it every day, and some days you don't feel like it, but once you get going, it's all good. But, burnout as a whole, not really a thing I've, like, experienced for a long time now. My favourite meal is probably homemade bread. That stuff is great, says Winged. Yeah, homemade bread's excellent. I so prefer homemade bread. There's a lot of homemade stuff I prefer over stuff you buy in the shop, like homemade pancakes and waffles. Like when you buy something in a shop and in the packaging, it's always got like, it's got all those like added preservatives and stuff in it, right? And flavourings, and you just make stuff yourself. It can be so much more nicer. Flapetti says, I got really burned out on playing Animal Crossing. I have not played that game. I heard it was like a relaxing game though, like a atmospheric one. I got no real desire to play any other games. Do want to play a little bit of Red Alert at the moment, but even that though, it's like the only reason I play stuff like that is because I get to stream and share it with all of you. and it just makes it mean something that way. Whereas otherwise, I'll just be like, I don't know, what am I doing? Like, that's what games make me think a lot of the time. What am I doing? So I need an excuse, like getting on my treadmill or doing a live stream. Doom ? I haven't played any more Doom Eternal, and my TV started recommending Doom videos to me. There's like this channel that's like the El Mango of Doom, just like breaking down all the code and showing you all this cool stuff with the game. And it kind of made me want to play it again, but I don't really want to. I don't know. Just getting nostalgic for it. How you doing on Minecraft Dungeons? Asks Coit. We will be playing the last level again in my next stream on Tuesday. I'm so gutted we didn't do that boss fight in one go. I'm not a big fan of doing stuff over and over again. It's what's like stalled me on Final Fantasy VII. It's like I've tried to beat this boss fight like 3 or 4 times and it's just not fun. And I don't really get a lot of pleasure out of playing games and them being difficult and having to overcome them. Maybe something like a puzzle game though, that's different, like Infinifactory, Factorio, like things that are difficult in that are really fun to solve, but that's probably because you can kind of initially solve them in not a great way. But on that Final Fantasy game, it's just like, oh, how many times do I want to like keep getting my butt kicked by this guy? I mean, I'm literally like replaying the game just for fun, so if it's not fun to get killed by this boss fight, like what's the point? See, that's what happens in my brain. Then I'll never play it again now. The ultimate puzzle game is The Witness. Yeah, I've heard of that one. Like, what was weird about that game is that that game doesn't entice me because if they're thinking of the right game, it just looks like so. How to describe it? Like, the puzzles aren't like a consistent thing. It's just 3D environment, you go around and do these odd random puzzles. That was like strangely unappealing to me. When I say it out loud, like what's the harm of that? You know, that can be good too, can't it? But yeah, that if it's the game I'm thinking of, that was just the unappealing element. Like I like a puzzle game that's like an idea, a consistent thing, and you know you do all the different iterations of it. Dr. Clutch says, boring. Boring. That's what I like to do. You know. I see a couple people sitting on a bench, I walk up to them and I go, boring! Dude, if it's boring, tune out. Go watch something else, man. I don't want to make you bored. Jeez. You know, go do something else. If this ain't your cup of tea, that's quite alright. And no need to be rude. Boring! Just, oh. What do you think about Portal? Yeah, Portal 1 and 2 are great. Satisfactory was a cool little game to play for a while. Now some people are repeating me. Boring. X, were you the voice of Grian's Villager mod? No. But it sounds a little similar maybe, right? Apparently we just lost 100 viewers. Great. Great. There's 100 people now hopefully doing something more entertaining for them. Oh, that's great. That is great. Well, according to it last time I checked, we've gone up. You know, we've gone up in views. X, I'm playing Manufacturio. It's Factorio Minecraft. Fun, but can be difficult dealing with. And then it went off the rest of the screen. I've seen that mod pack. Yeah, definitely looks interesting. Create mod is the one that last caught my attention. That one looked cool. Thing with me is like I'm picking up a new game is that I always like to like do stuff big, like Hermitcraft scale, right? So if I think about picking up a mod pack, I can't just like pick it up and play it for a bit. Like I always feel like I've got to have some big plan and create a big base when I go play a Minecraft world, you know? I think that's one of the things that turns me off of modded is that I can't really play it long term, and so for that reason I don't. We got a noise in the ear. We got Max Z the Bows with a subscription. We got Father of Apocalypse for 20 months saying stream day hype. Indeed. Indeed. And TGYK94 with cheers and bits saying, did you ever play the Carmen Sandigo games? If so, have you heard of Chinatown Detective Agency? I have not. Never heard of those. Never heard of that game. Thank you for the cheers and bits, though. Appreciate it. I mean, I've got no idea what it is based on the name. Kind of think of Papers, Please. That indie game. We got more cheers and bits. It's Tanny Glace. The cheers and bits saying, did you ever play Human Resource Machine, World of Goo, or Cube? I played World of Goo when it came out, a little bit. Actually, no, I think I played it when it was a Flash game, like before it became a proper game. But I played Human Resource Machine on my YouTube channel, so there's actually a series on that game you can go watch. Tango played that game as well, and he was way better at it. Because basically it was a programmer's game, right? And I weren't a programmer, but Tango is. And so I got through the first few levels, and then I was like, okay, now my brain hurts. Oh yeah, now that I think about it, it's made by the people that made World of Goo, right? Thank you again for your cheers and bits, Tanny. Appreciate it. Right, I think we're done here for now. Let's just pick up the last few bits from this area. Make sure we get all the bits. What's your favourite puzzle? Like Sudoku, Ken, or what? I like Sudoku. I don't like really do a puzzle like that on a regular basis, but there are some puzzle games I really enjoyed in the past. Right, let's throw this down, chuck that in there, and go to our next location. Have you ever played Hollow Knight? I have not. I saw that Wells played that a lot, didn't he? Alpen says, I'm really loving this grindy stream. Always enjoy hearing you talk. Thank you, dude. I'm glad you do. That's what we do on streams. We do grindy stuff. It's just the way it works. It's may not be the most thrilling thing to see, but it's kind of just, you know, I'm going to have these periods where I need to go gather resources, and it's like just easy to focus on chatting about stuff then. Right, now the place... Oh, I've just remembered where it is, actually. It wasn't where I initially thought it was. Then I remembered where it was. TGYK94 is here with cheers and bits, saying, puzzle solving exploration games where you need to use the information in real world things like the internet to solve puzzles. Oh, that's cool. Oh, I got... Oh, okay, I was going to go to the XP farm because that was low, but I spent the night killing skeletons, so it's high again. Thank you for the cheers and bits, dude. Appreciate it. I don't think I've played a game like that where you have to go to, like, real world solutions. That sounds kind of cool, though. I guess like Googling for answers and stuff. I know there's been like games that have been made, like teaser games. How can I describe it? Oh, this is actually quite a ways out now that I think about it. That is the portal. That is the portal we're looking for. Do you like tower defense games? Says Road to Me. I do, unfortunately. Played way too much tower defense. Gemcraft was the last tower defense addiction I had, but you know, I kind of let myself get into it a bit, but then recoiled. Just, you know, it's just, I've been there, done that. It's just a waste of time. But yeah, like those sort of like games, they're like super fun at first, but after playing so many of them, it's also great. My favourite tower defense game, I think, would be Pixel Junk Monsters on the PlayStation. Like that one was so awesome. So much fun playing that one. And Gemcraft is like the sort of crazy detailed one, I guess. But they all got their own like unique flares and things about them, I guess. But yeah, played the original tower defenses on StarCraft. That's where they first came from. They do have actually a bit of a history that goes beyond StarCraft, but like it was on StarCraft in the custom maps that all of a sudden this like new type of game emerged where you had to defend these waves of monsters, and I even made my own back in the day. We got Fred RGS with cheers and bits saying, I like to listen to your deep thoughts streams whilst doing grindy stuff myself. Awesome, dude. Glad you enjoy listening, man. It's podcasty, isn't it? That's what everyone says, podcasty. And I like listening to podcasts. Right, we need to sleep in a bed. because it's turning into night. And I'm going to drink some more water again. My voice is really like not on point today. I might not even record later. I don't know. I'll see. If you made a podcast, I'll definitely listen to it, says Pamacake. Well, it's not a podcast, but I have a channel called Asuma Says. It's practically, just listen to a playlist. It's practically a podcast then, you know? Just listen to videos back to back and it's like a podcast. Revolt Train says, Hermitcraft podcast someday. Probably not. Probably not. I mean, like, here's the thing. I've got a capacity for how much stuff I can do. And the same for everyone, right? You've got a capacity, you're putting your time into things. And it's like one of those things that sounds like a really cool idea. And of course, everyone would love to do like a Hermitcraft podcast, right? But it takes someone who's going to then commit to making it happen. Otherwise, it's like this thing that you do once and it doesn't really go anywhere. And that's why I haven't started a podcast, you know, because it's a commitment. And I've got my commitments to the things that I currently do. The videos, the streams, the music blogs, that's kind of like my main thing. And there isn't really too much room to add to that. So ideas like that, they're fantastic, they'd be wonderful, but it takes time and commitment. And we don't have those kind of resources, I guess. We got more cheers and bits. It's Rachel Sommer here saying, just want to hear how my name gets pronounced. Well, there you go, Rachel Sommer. Didn't you give some subs earlier? Or was it a different Rachel? Let's have a look. Oh, I feel like I'm going to burp all of a sudden. That would be rude, wouldn't it? I did. Yeah, you did. Thank you for giving those subs earlier. Thank you for the cheers and bits as well. Hopefully I pronounced your name okay. Zed has a podcast. Oh, does he? I wasn't aware he had a podcast. That's cool. X, didn't you have tea to drink? Yeah, I finished that a while ago. And we got more cheers and bits. My goodness me. Let's have a read. It's Reaper's Blood 666 saying, really enjoying the videos and I am enjoying the stream. They are a great way to relax after a long day at work. Keep up the great content. Thank you, my dude. Glad you're relaxing, enjoying the stream. Appreciate your cheers and bits. Thank you for the support. ZF has Chris and Jack podcast. Ah, okay, got ya. And we got more cheers and bits. Jeez. It's like a cheers and bits train at the moment. TJYK94 with those cheers and biddies saying, happy I got to catch the stream and more than happy to throw bits at you. HS cheers. Anyway, good night from Sunday midnight Australia. Ah, the upside down land. Thank you so much for the cheers and bits, dude. Appreciate it. Have a great night's sleep. I mean, I'm assuming you're tuning out. I mean, it's midnight. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're sticking around. Either way, thank you. We got Handstro8 subscribing. Thank you, Handstro. Appreciate your subscription. Scar also has a podcast. Oh yeah, Scar does the Disney podcast. Yeah. Anyway, my long-term plans, you know, with the Asuma Says channel is to build like a platform there, and if things change elsewhere with streaming or Hermitcraft and making videos, like if it means I can put time somewhere else, then the Asuma Says channel will maybe like turn into an actual platform for a podcast or you know, other stuff. That's like, it's not just a clips thing for now, it's like a down the road, it could become something else. Because I've got a passion to do something beyond this, and the thing is just time, right? Just time at the moment, really. This is so mesmerizing, says Catadogo. Is it mesmerizing? You are starting to feel sleepy. I just remembered. Okay, so I had some dreams last night. Like, I felt like I didn't have good sleep. I kept waking up, was achy, irritable. But according to my Fitbit, I'm all good. You know, I got that sleep score, repping that 88. Oh, look at me with my Zeds. With my snoozes. I remembered what dreams I had, although they're not quite as vivid now. But there were two distinct things that tied into each other. Okay, it's all come back to me. So, I was with family, but like extended family that I hadn't seen in years. and we were at a family member's house, and they pulled out this weird book, and I can't remember the colour of it, but it had all this like gold text on it that was all kind of like medieval and mythic, and kind of looked like Roman numerals. And they were like asking me about this theorem, like, can you solve this theorem? And like, here's the number. And I think it like began with a 9 and ended with a 5, and it was like this 7-digit number. And when I first looked at it, I thought it was Roman numerals because the text was so weird. But eventually I figured out what the numbers were like. And I was like, it's just a number. What do you want me to do? Like, what, do you want to find out if it's a prime number? What's the square root? Does it divide by this number, that number? And they're all like, oh no, we need you to solve the theorem. And I remember just being confused, like, it needs to be more of a premise as to like what the problem with this number is, right? And now I wonder, is there such a thing as like, hey, here's a number and that's all you need to know? Like, what's the mystery? I don't get it. It was weird. It was just weird brain activity when sleeping, right? So anyway. It kind of like, the dream kind of like transformed and merged and moved on. And that book with the number on it became this like religious symbol or token or something. And there were these like religious nunnery type figures, or nuns I guess you could say, and there were all these kids, and I feel like now I was actually watching more of a movie than participating. There were these kids, and there were like a group of them, like a gang of 12. I think they might have been orphans actually, and they were all like investigating this mysterious like part in this house that we were in that goes like underground. And it's in this like water flooded basement, and there's a ghost down there, and it's almost like a friendly ghost, and the kids like go down this chute that the adults can't fit in and like interact with it and make friends, and they're all like getting along and stuff. And like the ghost, like you can see it, like it's this weird like floaty half-bodied kind of thing with its arms dangling out in front of it, right? And then the adults decide they're going to send down the book, and the book's like a religious symbol, and they're cursing the ghost and all of this, and then the ghost starts freaking out, and it makes one of the kids like turn into a ghost as well, and they all start glowing these weird luminous colours together, and it like totally aggravated the ghost, and we were all trying to tell the people to stop, and they just kept sending down more religious symbols and like these like gold crosses and stuff, and it just made the ghost angrier and angrier. And that's it. That's just like, that was the dream, man. It was like, whoa, okay, you know, I dreamt that. You have weird dreams, says SCRT. I do, don't I? Did you eat cheese before bed? There was plenty of cheese on my pizza, so yeah, basically, yeah. Right, we got Jerodek 2800 with the cheers and the bits, saying it's 12:24 in Australia and I ain't sleeping yet. Nice chill stream to view in bed. Awesome, dude. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for your cheers and bits. And I hope you enjoy it before you go to bed. Well, you're already in bed, so, you know what I mean. Shut up. You know what I mean. Jeez. Right. We got Bean2 with 2 months saying, annoying to have to resub with Prime, but it's worth it. Yeah, that's how Prime works, isn't it? You can't automatically resubscribe. You've got to go in and do it manually. But you know why? Because they're giving away free subs through the Prime, so they want you to work for it. But thank you for doing that, man. Appreciate it. We also got Flapperty here subscribing. Thank you ever so much. Appreciate your subscription. And we got the real Foetus. The teal Foetus, even. The teal Foetus is here. Or is it Fetus? It might be Fetus, actually. It's spelt the same way as a band called Fetus that I listened to a record of theirs once. Once upon a time. We got Vligend Etekel. I definitely probably butchered that name. Thank you for subscribing with Amazon Prime. And Ben Chicken Belly. Thank you for your Prime subscription. Appreciate it. I had a weird dream and I really want to forget it. Oh dear. Sounds like it might have been a nightmare. X, why are you grinding for sand and gravel, says Selena Opal. Oh, I need them. I'm going to make some concrete. Gotta make some concrete. You know, all these diamonds I'm making at this shop. Gotta keep it stocked. We got Mug of T with the Prime subscription, and Austin Fonseca 99 subscribing. Thank you ever so much, appreciate it. Why not buy from Grian? Well, if I buy it from someone else, I'm not really going to make any profit on it, am I? And you know what we care about? Profit! Come on now, don't make me recite the rules of acquisition. Okay? There's a lot of them. It takes a lot of time to recite the rules. Oh, clearly I've been watching too much Deep Space Nine. That show is amazing. I love it. I think Sisko's becoming my favourite captain. His character's brilliant. The way, like, the Star Trek captain. It's all about like how they walk the line in difficult situations that get brought towards them, and how they do that is always interesting. And he does it brilliantly. He pretty much gets everything right, and in the best of ways as well. And I love how, like, when people like push his limits, it comes across in his attitude back at them. It's so cool. People are asking, is that a Ferengi thing? Yeah, the rules of acquisition. It's a Ferengi thing. I love the Ferengis. I love Rom's character arc at the moment. Like, he's kind of like this, like they paint him to just be completely dumb in the beginning, and then like he kind of grows a bit over the season. You start to see more of him, and I love character arcs. You know, that's the great thing I like about entertainment is character arcs, movies, TV shows. That's what I get interested in, like seeing people evolve and go from like one place to another. And there's a lot of that in Deep Space Nine. It's not like the Next Generation where everything's more episodic and just one thing at a time, and there's not a lot of consequences. Deep Space Nine has like got this long arcing development of story and character, and it's really good. Death Dealer says Deep Space Nine was fantastic. Yeah, I mean I'm near the end of season 4 now, and I've been binge watching it a bit recently. And you know, when it's fresh in the mind, it's easy to say, oh, it's the best ever, but like it's definitely, you definitely got to hold it up against the Next Generation. Like, I adore that show, but man, this Deep Space Nine's got some merits that that show doesn't have. That's got to be said. There are so many great character moments in Deep Space Nine, says Disturbed Puppy. Yeah, loads. Like, literally every character has like some great moment at one point or another. I think my favourite characters are Garrick and Odo, but I kind of love them all, really. Kind of love them all. Tanny says it was my favourite back when it was airing. When it was on telly when I was a kid, I don't really remember it very much, but I do remember like Star Trek was on telly, the Next Generation. I never really liked it much, but I probably just like couldn't tell the difference because I wasn't like invested in it. But yeah, it was aired on Sky, I think. Llamas. Liggity liggity llamas. Have you seen any of the Stargate shows? I saw a few Stargates when it was on Sky, because that was kind of like what I watched as a kid, right? The channel Sky, not the Sky. You know, I didn't stare off at it for ages. I did a little bit, okay. You know, jeez, leave me alone. Right, let's get some more of this sand, gravel even. Just wait for the episode about the Bell riots. Oh, I've passed that one, Black Market. That's a good one. I think I would have appreciated that episode more had I seen it time ago, because the whole going back in time and rechanging history, or in some way preserving it but not, like that's been quite well explored in the Next Generation as well, I think, and in other shows, and so. Yeah, that episode's really great. Definitely a memorable one. But like the concept kind of seemed been done before, if you know what I mean. Although when it aired, it might have been pretty like on point. But yeah, that was. I like when they reference it again on the Ferengi episode where they go to Roswell. That was clever. That is. Deep Space Nine IP was a rip-off of Babylon 5. I looked up the controversy on that, because I heard about that, and basically the Babylon series got pitched to the people that were making Deep Space Nine, and they said, we've already got something like this. it could literally just be that they were also doing a, you know, a similar type thing anyway. I mean, it's not like, you know, when you have these similarities, if you're gonna say someone copied someone else, you need some like solid evidence. And the idea of taking a series about being in space and applying it to a space station is kind of a logical step to take. So I just looked at the thing and I thought, I've got no investment in that anyway, but like, I could take that. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they're working on something similar. And GD says they turned out to be such different shows, there's room for both, they shared a large audience. Yeah, I might actually go and watch Babylon 5. I'd absolutely love just the whole premise of like it's like space opera, isn't it, you know? I love the way they use alien races to examine our own culture and the way we treat one another and the certain ideals and values that we hold. They get exaggerated because you can create this alien culture that like thinks or feels differently or interacts differently, and so much of like what it does in the show is just a reflection on humanity sometimes. It's really great. You should try The Expanse. Death Dealer, I am, you know, totally sold on The Expanse. 10 out of 10. I felt like season 4 was like quite forgettable. Season 1 was like, okay, I can get on board with this. Season 2 was like, yeah, this is really good. And then season 3 blew my mind. It was like the best thing ever. And then season 4 just kind of just went by, really. What's cool about The Expanse is that they've sort of framed it around trying to be more realistic. And there's lots of things about space travel that they do in that show that you could kind of go, all right, in a couple hundred years, it might be like this. It's not like fantasy, like, oh, we got the warp engine and that just takes care of everything. It sticks to what we know about space a lot more rigidly. That's cool. And also like the political drama of it, right? The social classes, the political aspect of it also feels like a more realistic extension from where we are now, right? Rather than just going, oh, it's the Federation, it's utopian, and we've solved all our problems on Earth. They literally call Earth paradise in the show, Deep Space Nine. Right, where were we? The Master Fox subscribed. Rhea subscribed. You lost your pajamas subscribed. No, I didn't, because I don't have pajamas. BB Browns is here with the Prime, and Baketon82 is here with the Cheers and Bits. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Right, let's look at chat for something to talk about. You know, what do you want to talk about, chat? We need to... Oh, there we go. There we go. A bit more over here. Mucklix is here subscribing. Thank you, Mucklix. Appreciate it. Deep Space Nine also deals with politics inside the Federation, but it doesn't make a huge accusations about society, which is what's so great about it. Yeah, it doesn't. It has a political angle, but it's not trying to reflect too much on present day. I don't think The Expanse is trying to reflect on present day. It's just more believable. Like, when you watch Star Trek and like the society that is there, you know, the replicators and no money and all that kind of stuff, right? It's very utopian and it's very like wishful, whereas something like The Expanse almost seems like, yeah, if we got out into space, it could look similar to this, because we still have the issues of like classism and wealth inequality, and it just sort of extends into that environment, so it's like a bit more believable in that way. People want me to talk about shovels. I don't know why you want me to talk about a shovel of all things. Have I got a shovel? Yeah, I've got a shovel. I've got a few tools in my shed. I don't ever use my shovel, you know. I don't do a lot of digging. What can I say? I do some gardening, but gardening for me is like mowing the lawn and getting rid of all the weeds, you know. We talked about shovel yesterday, says Slushy. I know, we talked about shovel yesterday as well. The legendary famous Minecraft YouTuber. You know, the most views on any video ever, but they deleted it. Why did they do that? They're such a troll, that shovel. What a troll. Diamond shovel. Nah, my shovel's made out of metal, not diamond. Goodness me. Jabuk says, what do you think about Boris Johnson's rules on social distancing? I don't know what the latest is, actually. I kind of haven't been watching BBC News. I've been watching videos about the riots and the protesting. I hate defaulting to the riots. Like, it's like 99.9% peaceful, and then a few people riot. I know that I was a bit annoyed with watching the BBC this morning, though, because the first thing they said about what happened yesterday, right? And again, I have my grievances with the BBC, but the first thing they said in the video I was watching, which was like the news show, is that a police officer was knocked down from their horse. And I got so annoyed. I went, you know they weren't knocked down. Like, why do you say that? And then, like, 2 minutes later, when they go into more detail, they say, oh, they rode under a traffic light and got hit. Now, obviously, that's terrible. I don't want no person to ride under a traffic light and get hit off of a horse. But why do they initially frame it with the suggestion that someone else has knocked them off? Oh, and anyway, like, I was looking into it a bit. You know, again, the news always seems to say that the crowd instigated it, and then the crowd always says that the police just decided to charge the crowd. I don't know, I'm not going to get into that too much, but man, it just annoys me how they take the event, and when they first talk about it, they just give it that different framing. They give it that, you know, subtle use of language frames it very differently. The news is very clickbaity, says Echo Art. Not a matter of clickbait, just like it wasn't in the title, it was just like morning news video. Just the first way they chose to talk about it, they suggest that it's the crowd someone in the crowd has knocked off the police officer. Then when they actually get into it, they're like, yeah, they rode under a traffic light. It's a very tricky topic because you're talking about large crowds of people, individuals standing in these crowds with emotions, having to take actions and reason and judgment behind those things. It's such a tricky thing to just narrow it down to like, they started it, these lot started it, right? It's never that simple, but it gets simplified to that in the conversation about it. And so you never really know. You have these weird wonky videos of stuff happening and that people share, and you gotta decipher what it all means. Ugh. We got noises in the ear, by the way. Floris is cool 06 with the Prime. I think I might have read that out. I'm going to read the last couple again just in case I missed. Mucklix and King Ninja Gamer 86, thank you. We got Zadurian 2259 with the subscription. Alex Gator 2573. Mikey Plain for 2 months. X, with you being an AI, how much RAM do you need to run your wisdom drives? Too much. Thank you, Mikey. Appreciate it. Shijin101 has subscribed, and Midnight Lover 96 gifting subs to Lino2705 and Code 1 Mountain. Thank you ever so much for supporting the community here. Appreciate it. Appreciate it ever so much. Sterobase says, yeah, it's quite annoying because we know that we need to dig out more information about the news source before we actually react to it. Yeah, it's a good thing we know that, right? Though, like. Some people don't know that. I'll tell you something else that I try to do. I try to go and look at news sources that I, you know, for the most part probably wouldn't agree with. Fox News being one of them. And I saw this really, like, it was bizarre to me because it was so blatant what they were doing. But they were running a list of names and, like, celebrity pictures. Their pictures and names. On the backdrop of riots. So they show you, you know, there's a lot of things happening, but they show you fires, they show you vandalism and destruction of property in the background. And then they run all these celebrity names on the screen and talking about how they're bailing out rioters. Okay, and, you know, everything usually has a little bit of truth somewhere in there, and I know what the truth to that is. I can see how they're framing this. You know, a lot of celebrities are giving their money and their wealth to this cause at the moment, and I'm gonna guess that part of that money that they send to these organizations helps get people who are arrested out, you know, on bail, get them back out. Now, there are peaceful protesters that end up in jails wrongfully because of the nature of this kind of clash, right? It isn't just police going after looters and rioters. They arrest peaceful protesters too. It happens. But you know, it did make me wonder though. It made me wonder, okay, well, you know, what's the breakdown of where this money goes? And does some of it actually bail out people who are perhaps looting? How does the organisation know who was who? Like, there could be an element of truth in there, but just the way it was framed was disgusting. It's so apparent what they're trying to do. They're trying to reinforce this this idea of like Hollywood leftism, elitism, right? And I see them do that so much. They just paint things into their narrative. I can't stand it. Really kind of grinds my gears. So anyway, like, you know, Fox doesn't really strike me as a place to do its due diligence, because if they've done proper journalism into where this money is going and figuring out, is it actually bailing out people who are just looting, like, there's a lot of legwork there, and, you know, it's not going to be 100%, is it? And so if they're not talking about the nuance of it, if they're not talking like, hey, we did the research, turns out 10%, I'm just making something up, you know, 10% actually bails out the wrong people, there's a story there, there's something to talk about. But that's not what they're doing. They're not even doing that. They're just blatantly framing it to this agenda, and it just drives me nuts. And I think it would be a great talking point and something to look into. Like, where does the money go from these nations? It'd be interesting to find out. I don't think it's going to be something nefarious, though, as like all the money's just going to like bail out the rioters and the looters. It's so narrativized and just really discerning, because, you know, there's just people like taking that in, and that's just becoming everything they know about it. There's great power there and not a lot of responsibility, it seems. Although the responsibility is to do something different, isn't it? And what's right. We got noises in the air. We got Jack567 with the Prime. We got Fanti free, Swagnilliance subscribing, and Graceful gifting a sub to XB Crafted. Thank you for gifting the sub, Grace. Appreciate you doing that. XB, good to have you with us. News organisations do not exist to inform, they exist to sell themselves and make money, says Syncopated Psyche. There's a fair amount of truth in that. Should journalism be governed by a professional body like lawyers, doctors and engineers, says Cubez. Oh, there's a very fascinating question. You know, who should journalism be governed by? I mean, you can pretty much probably find a dissenting reason for most things, right? Like if you say government, you know, government has an agenda. If you say they should be independent, then the capitalist motive of making money has its agenda. I mean, that's kind of how it is at the moment, right? Money drives a lot of the news cycle around. That has its drawbacks. Whatever group you give it to, someone's going to have a dissenting voice about that. So it's definitely a tricky thing. The BBC is publicly funded, says Haz. Yes, but it's still controlled by individuals and it still falls in line with a particular narrative. The way I would say to look at the BBC and to realise where it's not objective is to look at its selective nature and what it reports. You know, like they tried to, it really felt, and again, this is, you know, speculation, didn't have time to really look into it, but it felt like they tried to push down the Black Lives Matter movement with the Madeleine McCann thing. Like, where's that come from? Like, this is like a really old news cycle, and all of a sudden it's just come straight back and bumped everything else off the top of the page all of a sudden. And you can kind of expect that whenever there's like protests and movements. Like, the protests aren't getting smaller, they're getting bigger and bigger. And people are sharing it on social media, and you can see these videos of protests, and things are getting bigger and larger. And yet the media cycle tries to shift to something else. And it was just like, there was this like small development in this Madeleine McCann story that was from like 15, 20 years ago. And obviously not to like be disrespectful in any way to what that story is about, but like it just pops up out of nowhere and oh, it's front page news now, is it? Like, why is there always something to push down the big issue? Just drives me nuts. Randy Nicole 2002 is here for 61 months. That's an evil X in chat right there. I heard that noise in my ear a moment ago. Glad to have you with us, Randy. Appreciate it. Shadow Crow is here with a donation saying, what's your opinion on open relationships? Dating a person, being able to see others as well. I think that's up to an individual to figure out for themselves if that's something they want to be in or not. And I think it's something you want to be honest and open with, not just with like yourself, but with other people as well. I think there's room in society to try like any type of relationship. I watched like some interesting documentaries about people that live in like triples, like relationships that span beyond more than two people on that intimate level. And obviously it goes, air quotes, goes against the norm. But like, I think as long as people are open with one another, like they should be able to try that stuff if that's what they want to do. But sometimes I think like the idea of something can be more appealing than actually what it is. Cubez says, that sounds weird. I guess to each his her own. Yeah. If I remember where I saw the documentary about it, I think it might have been on Vox Explained. Like there's like monogamous. Oh god, these words are supposed to be the norm. Then you have I'm trying to remember the words. There's like terms for it, and there was a series on Netflix by Vox. I think it's in Vox's Explained that like go into those relationships, and like one or two of them seemed kind of culty as well. Like it was this one guy who had like 7 wives or something, and it just seemed a bit like yeah, like there was a power dynamic there. In fact, monotonous, yeah, monogamous. Nate the Great says Vox is so left. Yeah, they are left, but they do some absolutely fantastic stuff with how they explain things going on in the world. I think you know, an organisation can have its leaning, but like they can still be great at communicating information. You know, if you watch something that leans to a side, you can still extract like a great amount of value from it. You just have to be aware of the leanings and like adjust, because there's certainly stuff I see them say that I take with a pinch of salt sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, that's blatantly because you have a philosophy. But their Explained series is absolutely brilliant, and a lot of it I think is far less biased than you might think. They have a reputation for being very biased, but not with their Explained stuff. I think, you know, I get to chalk a lot of that stuff up to other things I'm interested in, because again, I like edutainment and the science community, and I listen to a lot of science communicators. They quite often explain stuff, and I kind of already got this idea like that sounds pretty neutral compared to what, you know, these more scientific sources would say. But anyway, it's on, I think it's on their series Vox Explained on Netflix. It was really interesting. But there's also the guy in Tiger King who has like lots of mistresses and wives, and like they kind of break or portray him down to be rather culty. And I never finished watching that series. I got kind of sick of it. Like, I kind of realised that, you know, there's a story to tell, but sometimes they want to tell it over 10 episodes, when you could probably tell it in 5. And, you know, sometimes I stick with it, sometimes I don't. Like, The Last Dance was an interesting one. I watched the first episode and thought, oh, I get it. Like, yeah, Michael Jordan, the Bulls. You know, it was historic, they won a lot of stuff. And I was like, I don't want to watch 10 episodes about that. But then it got stuck in my head, and I couldn't stop thinking about it, and like, oh, I remember the Bulls in the 90s. Like, they were kind of like, you saw that image everywhere, and like, what it represented. And I went back and started watching it again, and got totally sucked in, and watched all 10 episodes. Blep is here with a donation, saying, hey X, I got a recommendation for one of your old guitar covers. So obviously I had to binge it. Was wondering if you're still interested in doing more lately. Did an amazing job. Thank you, Blep. I'm so out of practice and yeah, so out of it that I probably won't get back into it anytime soon. It was kind of a plan. It was kind of like what I'm now doing with Asuma Says, this like down the pipeline idea, right? I was like, down the pipeline, I want to become a like guitarist, and I handled it all wrong. But I really should find the time to play on occasion, which I haven't done in a long time. And it was just today I was listening to the Frank Klepacki remixes, like reimaginings of the old songs, and there was one called Blow It Up, and I was like, did I ever do a cover of this? Because I used to play this song and I could play it like front to back, but I don't know if I ever got round to recording that one. And that's probably like the one song I would go and pick up and play first. Would be like, yeah, let's do Blow It Up by Frank Klepacki, because I can play that. Tune down to drop C and play some easy power chord songs. Yeah, I got some stuff in drop D that I never recorded as well. Like, oh man, and there's some Lamb of God songs that I didn't record. Man, I wish I'd have recorded a few more before I gave it up, perhaps. It was difficult to record though, like with that mask on. It was a real pain in the bum. A lot of frustration that came with that. Atheistic Panda is subscribed with Amazon Prime. Thank you so much for your Prime subscription. Appreciate it. Peeps are saying keep an eye on the time. Yeah. Oh, on that note, let's actually just like head back because we've got travelling to do. And I got enough of this stuff to make some concrete. You know, in my mind, we were going to do... I had this big list of stuff to do. And then I started thinking, I know how this goes. You're going to be crafting those bones for ages. Then you're going to spend forever mining the gravel. You're not even going to make any concrete on this stream. I'm fine with it. Right, now I don't know... I've guessed correctly. I've guessed correctly. Don't know why I'm trying to turn that into a song, but this is the right way. Play Pumped Up Kicks. Yeah, what is that song? Pumped Up Kicks. I know that song. Isn't that like on the Tony Hawk soundtrack or something? Pumped Up Kicks. Is that like a punk song? Oh man, I feel like I shouldn't like... I know the words, the name, but it's like... What does it mean? As someone who was a caretaker for Tiger for 2 years, I can't stand Tiger. Oh, I thought you meant their thing. Those people are more concerned with their egos than their animals. Yeah, that's the whole thing I got out of it. Was just like, yeah, this is a lot of like egotistical people going on, doing their thing. I'm waiting on my Ibanez RG7241 to show up for my first 7-string. Oh, the RG7241. I'm going to search that right now. RG7241. I might know that. When I was playing guitar, I spent a lot of time looking at guitars. I was getting well obsessed with it. Yeah, that looks like a pretty like standardy kind of like design. At least what it's throwing up. Let's actually type Ibanez as well. Yeah, that looks actually quite similar to the one that I got dismantled and then never repainted. Like I have a dismantled 7-string Ibanez just in my garage. But man, I got my ultimate guitar when I was playing it. I got the Universe, the 7-string, the original 7-string. Although I didn't get the original guitar, I got the remastered, remade. But it's like the original one, and it was like with the green dots on the fretboards and the green pickups, and I was like, oh, I saw this in like all these videos of like Korn and Morbid Angel. Every now and then I just see this like crazy green and black guitar, and then I found out what it was, and I found out I could buy it, and I got so obsessed with it. Harry TY BBZ has subscribed to Amazon Prime. Thank you so much. If you head over to my second channel, peeps, you can... Oh, you have a Universe 777. Isn't that like the crazy Steve Vai type with all the crazy paint job? That's so cool. On my second channel, you can see me playing on it. Deftones. I played a couple of Deftones tracks on it. I played a Morbid Angel song on it, Dawn of the Angry. That's so much fun to play. Like the way you stretch things around and doing all this grindy picking. Oh man. Oh man, I might have to pick up the guitar later today. Just might have to. And what other songs did I play on that? I've still got my playlists on my hard drive, I could like pull them up and just tell you all the songs that I used to play. We'll do that another time. Where is False, by the way? I haven't even talked to her. It's just occurred to me that I've just, by default, headed back here. I see a name tag. It's False. Shall I end the pearl into her? No, that makes no sense. Right, you good? Let's see. Is False good? Thank you everyone for tuning in today. Be sure to hit the follow button over here before you head out, because we're passing it over to False, and we're going to raid False. We've also got Yellow Harold here for 50 months. Thank you ever so much, dude. Appreciate it. Where are we at? Right. I've got to press buttons and I don't know what I'm doing. There it is. Raid. We're raiding False. So yeah, peeps, massive thank you to everyone who subscribed, resubscribed, donated and cheered. As always, I appreciate your support. Be sure to hit that raid button in chat. The stream day continues with False. You can go to livestream.hermitcraft.com to see the full schedule. And remember, Ren is streaming an extra 30 minutes and Grian is streaming for 90 minutes of Scar Spot. Right. That's it. We're done. Thank you, peeps. Go enjoy the rest of the day. Bye-bye.